ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So we'll not spend more time on the recap, but very briefly to understand where we are, to connect ourselves. So we have already completed the part one of Bhagavatamrta, which is entitled as the title as Sri Bhagavat Kripa Sara Nidhara, the search for the essence of Bhagavan's mercy, which covered in 799 slokas. This is a story of sage Narada, who has been wandering all the places, all the holy dhams, to identify a person who is the who is receiving the ultimate mercy of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he has covered the various places, abodes. He crossed earthly planet, he went to heavenly planet, and then he went beyond the material world. He met Lord Shiva, and then he came back and met so many other devotees in this earthly planet back, like Prahlad Maharaj, then Hanuman, Pandavas, and Yadus, and then Uddhava. And finally, he understands that Brajavasis, they are the ultimate recipients of Lord's mercy. Then, based on the request of Mother Uttara, Parshit Maharaj continues to explain the place where the recipients of ultimate mercy of the Lord will reach. Because Mother Uttara was a bit concerned that if everyone goes to one same place, like say Vaikuntha, so what is the difference between the different gradations of bhakti, what they possess, and the rasa which they are enjoying the bhakti? So to answer Mother Uttara's question, Parishit Maharaj has technically delayed his time of leaving the body. So he kept the Takshaka on wait and continued this explaining the pastime of Gopakumara, which is covered in part 2 in 1716 slokas. So we have covered chapter 1 and chapter 2, Vairagya and Jnana, and today we will try to complete third and fourth chapter, which is Bhajana and Vaikuntha, the spiritual kingdom. So part 2, we have discussed last session how a poor Brahmana from Pragjyotishpura, which is presently in Assam, he was continuously worshipping Kamakya Devi, and Mother Kamakya Devi was so pleased with his devotion, and she has appeared in his dream and has given 10 syllable Gopal mantra and asked him to chant without stopping continuously. And as he was doing, he developed complete renunciation, and he left everything, home and everything, and he, as per the instructions of Lord Shiva, he came to Vrindavan, and there he meets Gopakumara. In between, long pastime, long story is there, which we discussed last week. And there he meets Gopakumara. Gopakumara, understanding this Brahmana asked Gopakumara, what is a sadhya, what is a sadhana of for his life? So to answer the question of Brahmana, poor Brahmana, Gopakumara is revealing his own experiences. This is not a concocted story. One should have the faith, because this is given by Acharyas. Sanatana Goswami has narrated this, so this definitely cannot be a concocted story. So this has been properly documented in the scriptures. So Gopakumara reveals his story, that how he, being a coward boy, meets once his spiritual master in Vrindavan, who gives Gopal mantra to him and instructs him to chant Gopal mantra, and without telling the process and procedure, he disappears. And Gopakumara started taking up the practicing Gopala mantra sincerely, even though he doesn't know the process and he doesn't know the sadhya and sadhana. Only thing he knows is chanting Gopal mantra, which is given by his guru. So he also developed this vairagya, and he leaves Vrindavana, and he start wandering all over the places. There he meets one Brahmana who was worshipping Saligrama Shila, and he was so pleased with the kind of a worship of Saligram Shila, and then start glorifying the Brahmana. And when he sees that Brahmana is keeping the Saligram Shila in the wooden box and closing it, so he was so bewildered, and he asked Brahmana, "Why you are doing this? Why you are not offering any opulence to this Saligram Shila?" So then Brahmana says, "I am a very poor Brahmana. I don't have anything to offer. So if you want to see the real worship of Supreme Lord, you go to the king, which is nearby. So there, king of the city, he is worshipping 400 form of Vishnu with all the opulences. There Gopakumara goes, and he was so happy to see the way the Archavigraha was going on. Then eventually he becomes a king. The long story we discussed, and he started engaging himself into more detailed worship. From there, he meets some of the devotees who come from Jagannath Puri, and they tell him that how Lord is personally manifested in the form of Daru Brahma in Jagannath Puri. So, based on the information given by these devotees, the desire develops in the heart of Gopakumara, and then he proceeds to Puri. There he sees, he has darshan of Lord Jagannath along with his brother and sister. He was so ecstatic, so happy. In every place where Gopakumara started moving, starting from Saligram Shila, we understand, Sanatana Goswami explains that his gradation of happiness keeps on increasing. It never reaches to a saturation. He never feels, or sometimes he feels that, oh, I'm very happy now. But again, it was a momentary, temporary. So again, he started looking for more happiness, more happiness. So that's how he comes to Jagannath Puri. From there, he also becomes a king of Puri, because the king of Puri dies, and he engages completely in the worship of Lord Jagannath. From there, he further goes to Swargaloka, heavenly planets, because Lord Indra is personally worshipping Supreme Personality Godhead in Swargaloka, in the heavenly planets. So there he goes, he experiences the worship of the Supreme Lord by Indra, and he develops a desire that he want to become, or he want to worship same like Indra, and eventually he becomes Indra. For some reason, Indra leaves that place, and he becomes Indra and worships the Lord. But though he is satisfied, but the happiness is not in full. So from there, he goes to Maharloka, Janloka, Tapoloka. He meets various personalities. Tupalayana, the son of King Rishabdev, and also 4 Kumaras he meets, and finally reaches Satyaloka. And he becomes a Brahma eventually, and he engages himself in the worship of Supreme Personality Godhead directly, form of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So from here we'll go on further explanation of the travel journey of Gopakumara. So being a Brahma, now Gopakumara started getting distracted from devotional service, because he had to engage in the creation of material world, the secondary creation of the material world, and so many other responsibilities as a Brahma. So he started developing dissatisfaction in his heart, though he was worshipping Supreme Personal Godhead Garbhodesha Vishnu directly. So, and also Gopakumara started worrying about his lifespan. So this is a very common. If somebody is having say 50 years of lifetime, also he worries. 100 years of lifetime also worries. Even millions of years of lifetime also he worries, because at the end of the day he is going to leave the body. So he continued his mantra japa. He was trying to understand what is his ultimate sadhya. So as he was concerned, he was meditating on the mantra japa which is given by his spiritual master. So that time, one day, it happened that all the personified Vedas, Puranas, and even the holy places, including Puranas, Vedas, including Srimad Bhagavatam, and also the holy places, personification of holy places, they all gathered around Brahma, who is Gopakumara, and they were discussing. These are the spiritual topics. The discussion goes on in all the higher planetary system. So they started discussing about the liberation. The debate was going on about liberation. So Vedas started saying liberation is attained only by knowledge. So only one who has the right knowledge, they can attain the liberation. So some Puranas and Tantras, they started objecting this comment by Vedas. They say that no, yeah, whatever you're saying is right, but that knowledge which is cause of liberation can be attained only through bhakti. So this is what Puranas and Tantras they explain. So in between, some Shrutis and Smritis, they interfere in the discussion, the debate. They say that only by cultivation of bhakti, liberation is easily attained and no need of any knowledge. So likewise, all the discussion is going on, and some Puranas and Upanishads, they came in and they said that liberation can easily be achieved only by chanting the holy names of the Lord, which is the easiest process of bhakti. So now Gopakumara gets totally confused with the whole discussion is happening. Meanwhile, a deep desire has arose in the heart of Gopakumara to experience the liberation which was being discussed by all the personified Vedas, Puranas, and others. So then Gopakumara asked Srimad Bhagavatam, personification of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is sitting there, about the true nature of liberation. So before the desire already came into his heart, now he wanted to experience that. So before experiencing the liberation, he wanted to understand from Srimad Bhagavatam about the true nature of liberation. Then Srimad Bhagavatam gives a wonderful Bhagavatam lecture, Bhagavatam class. It is run into maybe more than 70 or 80 slokas of this chapter. Since we don't have time, we'll try to cover very, very briefly. He says that Srimad Bhagavatam mentions that although sometimes we mention in our script, he is referring to the scriptures, sometimes we mention that liberation is very important. In some of the scriptures, even from Bhagavatam, a topic about liberation discussion as comes, and it highlights the importance of liberation. Then Srimad Bhagavatam says that although sometimes we scriptures devoted to the loving service of Supreme Lord, in some places we have told about the process of liberation. Please note, dear Gopakumara, that the reference of this liberation is only to expose its insignificance and to condemn that both liberation and the process of achieving liberation is insignificant. So don't think that liberation is ultimate. So Srimad Bhagavatam continues to say that liberation is like a being free from pain of disease. So absence of suffering is compared to liberation. So if somebody thinks that absence of suffering is happiness, that is a liberation. But that is not a real happiness. Happiness is something different. Is in a state of liberation, when one gets merged with Brahmajyoti, there is no suffering. But the absence of suffering itself is not a happiness. So that is what Srimad Bhagavatam is trying to highlight. She says that only ignorant people think that liberation gives the real happiness, which in fact it is not. So Srimad Bhagavatam continues to say that just by chanting the holy names of the Lord, one that actually gets a real happiness. That is the real liberation. The glories of holy name, Srimad Bhagavatam says that definitely it cannot be explained that easily. So then Gopakumar asks, okay, then what exactly is the liberation? Then Bhagavatam continues to say that something that vanquishing all types of suffering is the liberation. And some say that eliminating actions committed out of ignorance. So out of ignorance, suppose we are committing some activities, actions. By eliminating all such actions, means by not engaging in mode of ignorance is a liberation. Some people say that. And some people think that overcoming the illusion, overcoming the Maya is a liberation. But Srimad Bhagavatam says that any of these activities, there is no real happiness. These are all a temporary phase. These are all absence of suffering, absence of illusion. So only understanding the soul, only with the understanding soul is to realize that we are part and parcel of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even this understanding also is a drop, minute drop compared to the happiness of performing the devotional service to the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead and chanting the holy names of the Lord. So the very first step in our realization is that to understand we are part and parcel of Supreme Personality of Godhead. The soul is minute part of absolute truth. That is very basic understanding. Even that itself is not a liberation. Some people say that even this understanding gives liberation. So Bhagavatam says that lotus feet of the Lord, the only source of happiness that can be realized only by bhakti. Then a lot of discussion happens about difference between Brahman effulgence and Bhagavan, because now Gopakumara is going to experience in coming slokas the liberation. He goes to the abode of liberation, Brahmajyoti. So Bhagavatam is giving explanation of the differences between Brahmajyoti and Bhagavan. So one small analogy for us to understand, then we go forward. Because more than 70 or 80 slokas are covered the discussion between Bhagavatam and Gopakumara. The example which Srimad Bhagavatam gives is just like a lump of sugar, which is sweet, and also the source of sweetness. The lotus feet of the Lord are the form of bliss and also origin of bliss. So Brahmajyoti is compared to a sweet, but the sweet is it gives bliss. But more than the sweet, if you go to the origin of the sweetness, that will be definitely much more sweeter than the sweet. So same way, Brahmajyoti is compared. Brahmajyoti is a effulgence of Supreme Personal Godhead. It definitely gives a lot of bliss because there is no suffering there. But that bliss in Brahmajyoti is coming from a different origin, the cause, karana. The Brahmajyoti is a karya, means the action. Karana is Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. So Brahman is only blissful, but it is not the origin of the blissfulness. So it goes on explaining the characters of Jiva and Parabrahman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the differences between these two, saying unalloyed devotees who are fully dedicated to the service of Supreme Personality of Godhead automatically experiences the happiness which is beyond all this liberation and other aspects. So these the real happiness one gets in that cannot be compared with any other happiness. This is infinite and limitless. So conclusion is that devotion to the Lord does not depend on the process of various fruitive activities. So Bhagavatam explains. It does not depend on the various processes of fruitive activities, such as fruitive activities like karma, jnana, and vairagya. It doesn't depend. It is a natural. One who engages in the devotional service, irrespective of all other aspects, whether it's karma, jnana, and vairagya, that itself gives ultimate happiness. Only those who exclusively desire to perform the loving devotional service of the Lord through chanting, hearing, chanting, and other process of bhakti can attain this happiness. So then Srimad Bhagavatam concludes its class to Gopakumara, saying that the supreme fruit of devotion, bhakti, is prema, which is in that state one never get satisfied. So though the discussion, the question answer session continues between Gopakumara and Srimad Bhagavatam. So then finally Srimad Bhagavatam says that I am going to give one confidential secret. This universe where we are in now, because don't forget now, Gopakumar is a Brahma and he is in the topmost planet of the universe, but still is within the universe. Srimad Bhagavatam says that universe which is surrounded with several coverings, several layers, each covering is 10 times more than the previous one. Even within each covering also there are personalities are there. The ruler, ruling deity, ruling king is there, and the deity of the personified deity also there in that layer. Only after crossing all these layers one can reach to the abode of liberation, Brahmajyoti. So there, in that abode, all the material causes and effects completely disappear. So there is no cause and effect. Everything is kind of a very nirvana stage. There is no any pain, no suffering. That itself is considered as happiness. So it is called Mahakalapura, the abode of a great time factor. So very soon, by continuously chanting the mantra japa given by your spiritual master, you will be able to achieve that abode. So if you are really eager to reach that abode, my dear Gopakumara, give up all these positions of Brahma and all this. Quickly go back to Vrindavan. So it means one who want to cross this material universe cannot go directly from any other planet, higher planetary systems to beyond this material world. So they have to come back to earthly planet. So this is the message which Bhagavatam is giving. So quickly go back to Praja and engage in your devotional practice. So now Gopakumara, fully confused, says that already I am seeing the Lord here. Though I have a desire to experience a liberation, should I abandon the worship of Supreme Personality of Godhead directly here and go somewhere else? Then when he was in confusion, the Garbhodasha Vishnu himself speaks to Gopakumara. He says that go back to Praja. There you will meet your spiritual master and understand from him the real process of bhakti. Then you will see me again very soon in Mahakalapura and you will obtain abundant happiness, bliss in the abode. So, and all your desires will be fulfilled very soon. Then Gopakumara, the speed of mind, the moment he gets instructions from Supreme Lord, the speed of mind, he comes back to Vrindavana. Now here the chapter 3 starts. It describes how Gopakumara crosses the coverings of the universe and reaches the abode of liberation. So this chapter also narrates how he meets Lord Shiva in Shivaloka, which is above the Brahmajyoti, above the Mahakalapura, and he also meets eternal associates coming from Vaikuntha, and how he develops a desire to go to Vaikuntha. So Gopakumara, when he returns to this to earthly planet, he comes to Mathura. He sees that the whole earthly planet undergone a lot of changes because he's coming after millions of years compared to, because he becomes Indra, he becomes Brahma. So thousands and millions of years would have finished. The whole world got changed except Vrindavan. It remained as it is. There, Gopakumara meets his spiritual master as he was wandering the Rajabhumi. So when he sees the spiritual master, he was in unconscious stage. When he gets up, he embraces Gopakumara and he understands the desire of Gopakumara to go to the abode of liberation, Mahakalapura. Now, his guru explains the actual rules of meditation and how to worship the mantra, Gopala mantra, which he has given earlier. Before, he never explained, he just gave the mantra and he disappeared. Now, in detail, he explained the whole process. And the guru disappears from that place. Gopakumara continues to chant the Gopala mantra. And as he was continuously doing, the sadhya and sadhana were automatically started revealing to him. One day, he completely transcends his body made of 5 elements, and he has been given a spiritual body which carries a subtle body, and started proceeding towards upper planetary system. He crossed all the planets. Now again, he don't have to stay in each higher planetary system and spend millions of years there. So he started going towards upper planetary system with the help of the spiritual body which he was received. And he has seen all the planets are fully filled with all the defects and flaws, because now he has become more self-realized soul. He is able to understand the defects of each planetary system. Even Satyaloka also, every planetary system has some defect because everything is in part of this material world. So before it took thousands of billions of years for him to cross, now he is just crossing the speed of mind. Finally, he reaches the coverings of universe. It is mentioned that this coverings of universe, the happiness there is 1,000,000 times more than Brahmaloka. Quickly, to understand why this more happiness, each layer, this is very technical, we'll try to understand in short. Each layer, the soul gets a suitable body made of the particular element. When he is entering the first layer, which is made of earth, the soul gets a suitable body made of that particular element, earth. Each element, each layer is Karana Avarana, which is a causal covering of that element. That element, earth element, which is there in this earthly planet, cause of this is coming from this layer, which is earth. So when the soul is trying to cross this layer, the soul gets a suitable body, which is made of that particular element. So when he moves from earth layer to next layer, which is water, so he gets a suitable body, which is made of that element, so that he can remain in that layer. So he gets rid of the previous element and he gets a new element, depending on the layer in which he is entering. So in the process of gradually crossing each covering, the living entity, the soul, enjoys the happiness of each layer. So it is very clearly explained, Sanatana Goswami here, that eventually, after giving up the subtle body, enter the mode of liberation. So till then, subtle body is there, which is mind, intelligence, and ego, and the soul, and the covering of that particular layer, which is made of the element of that particular layer, like earth, water, fire, likewise. So when he moves all the crosses all these coverings, he gives up all these layers and also the subtle body. Then he will enter in the mode of abode of liberation. So one more point which is explained by Sanatana Goswami here is the presiding ruler. Actually, it is a bit technical. The presiding ruler of each higher planet is more elevated than the ruler of the lower planet. Now, for example, just to give example, Gopakumara is entering the layer which is made of earth, the first layer. So the ruler of this planet, the layer, each layer is a planet again, is a Bhudevi. Bhudevi, position of Bhudevi is much higher than the lower planet of that is Brahmaloka. So it means Bhudevi's position is much higher than Brahma. So that is what it's trying to say. The presiding ruler of each higher planet is more elevated. Even in terms of bhakti, in terms of position, they are greater than the ruler of planet below. And still more elevated are the presiding deities of the subtle covering. Now, for example, earthly planet, earthly layer, Mother Earth is a ruler of that planet. She is a more elevated devotee than Brahma. And who is the presiding deity of that layer, earthly layer, is Varahadev. See, everything is so scientific, so connecting to the Shastras. There is a perfect connection between Varaha and Mother Earth in the scriptures. So Varahadev is a presiding deity of that particular layer of where Mother Earth is actually residing. He is more elevated than Mother Earth. So there, as Gopakumara started crossing the layers, Mother Earth started requesting Gopakumara to come and stay here. Please enjoy all the material happiness available. If you take my shelter, I'll give you all the material happiness in this planet. But Gopakumara requested permission, paid obeisances to Mother Earth, requested permission to proceed further. So he goes on further. From earth, he crosses water. From there, he crosses air, fire, air, ether, ego, and finally Mahatattva. Wherein the presiding, there are ruler of each layer. If you remember, I posted one picture, one slide in the group, wherein I mentioned the thickness of and also happiness of each layer where Gopakumara is trying to pass pass through. All these layers are there for every universe. So we are talking about our universe where the thickness and happiness of each layer is being described. Happiness one gets in that particular abode. So the presiding deities of these layers of universe, earth we see in Varahadev, water presiding deity of water, layer of water, the abode of water is Matsya Avatara, and fire, the presiding deity is Surya. Then air, presiding deity is Pradyumna. Then ether is Aniruddha. Ego, Sankarshana, and Mahatattva is Vasudeva. So they are all presiding deities. So Gopakumara goes through each layer. It's explained that each layer is a cause of one before it. So it means the layer of water is a cause. Cause means a karana, means from where it comes. The layer of water is a cause of earthly layer. So from water, earth generates. Earth here, earthly layer is a karya. Karana is water and karya is earth. So each successive layer, it possesses progressively more significant objects of worship, more significant, abundant happiness, enjoyment, opulences, and glories. So Gopakumara, as he was traveling, passing through each abode, each planet, he receives the hospitality and honor at each layer by the ruler of that particular abode. Gopakumara respectfully denies because he wanted to go to abode of liberation. And he further goes on. He crossed all the layers, finally reached the abode of Mahatattva, abode of Prakriti, material nature. So this abode composed of most subtle form of ignorance, and it is covered with a complete dark blue covering, and it is very attractive for the eyes, and also of course is a distractive for the mind, because one gets started distracting from one's devotional service. This is the mode of ignorance. It is the same abode which is explained in Harivamsha, where Arjuna and Krishna, they go to see Mahavishnu to bring back the sons of Brahmanas. That is a different story. We will not go into that. But this is the same abode wherein Krishna sends his Sudarshan Chakra to dispel the darkness. So now Gopakumara is entering into the same place, the mode of Mahatattva, abode of Prakriti. So there Prakriti Devi, she is worshipping Mohini Murti. So she invites Gopakumara. She was ready to offer various gifts like Anima Siddhi and other yogic siddhis. She says, if you want mukti, please, you have to please me and enjoy all the mystic perfections. Remember, my dear Gopakumara, if you reject me, you will not get mukti. Gopakumara, having complete faith on instructions of his spiritual master, he paid obeisances to Mother Prakriti, did not accept any siddhis, and he wants to move on further. There, Gopakumara sees innumerable entities wandering, floating in that abode. Their bodies made of pradhana, which is original cause of Mahatattva, which is in a very, very raw stage of ingredients of Prakriti. So the whole layer of Prakriti is the cause of all the 5 gross elements, is explained by Acharyas. The happiness one gets here is 1,000,000 times more than the previous abodes. So finally, Gopakumara crosses the layer and enters gigantic effulgence of the effulgence is compared by Sanatana Goswami with the which is equal to billions or billions of suns. The huge effulgence Gopakumara sees. And he started trembling with the fear and he closed his eyes. But this effulgence started giving a lot of happiness, a lot of bliss to the eyes and mind of Gopakumara. This effulgence, sometimes or most of the times, Gopakumara realizes that there is no specific form, Nirakara. There is no mundane form. And sometimes it takes a transcendental form to the divine eyes, which is given to Gopakumara. So this gigantic effulgence is none other than the Brahmachuti of Supreme Personality Godhead. Now, a lot of discussion, explanation was given about the feelings of Gopakumara. Very briefly to cover, Gopakumara started feeling helplessness. He was overwhelmed with the awe and fear by seeing the effulgence. One hand, he was having experienced so much of happiness because there are absolutely no miseries at all, no fear. But the fear of seeing the Lord in that form is arose in his heart. Otherwise, there's no fear of any material kind of fear. But he was extremely blissful. He was not able to understand whether he was seeing the transcendental form of the Lord with his eyes or mind. So here, the Acharya explained that that level, all the senses becomes interchangeable. Like we heard in Brahma Samhita also, that Lord accepts bhoga through his eyes. Eyes, all the senses does the activities of other senses also. So here Gopakumara is able to see the form of Nirakara through his eyes, which does the function of mind. So some stage Gopakumara was being dragged. He wanted to get merged into the effulgence, Sayugyamukti. Now here on we are going to discuss as he goes to Vaikuntha, other forms of liberation also we'll discuss. Here the Sayugyamukti, he is trying to experience. He is having a desire, but because of the mercy of his spiritual master, he surrendered to his spiritual master. It is explained the radiance which is coming out of the toenails of this Nirakara. So somebody may think, what is this? Even the Nirakara, where is the toe, where is the nails? But it is a transcendental form which we are talking about of this Nirakara. The radiance coming from his toenails of that personality stopped Gopakumara from getting merged into Brahmajyoti. Now Gopakumara started feeling that this is a place which is supreme, this is supreme destination, is the highest bliss one can experience. So think how can there be any other place or abode which gives, because there is no misery, there is no problems at all. This is the real happiness. In that moment also, he remembered the instructions of Guru and continued his mantra japa. And that has created more desire in his heart to have a direct darshana of Supreme Personality of Godhead and enjoy the pastimes of direct worship to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he started developing a dissatisfaction in his heart. So that moment, he heard the sounds of some extraordinary singing and music. So suddenly he saw the extraordinary personality was sitting on a bull. He was completely naked, wearing a garland of bones on his neck, having a matted hair. His body was smeared with ashes, holding a trident in his hand. By looking at a great personality, Gopakumara was completely bewildered. And he also seen a woman sitting in his lap, and that personality was surrounded by so many associates. And Gopakumara felt that this atmosphere is more divine than what he experienced in Brahmaloka, and immediately paid obeisances to that personality. And he asked one of the associates of the Lord, "My dear sir, who are all of you? And who is this great personality sitting naked on bull?" That personality laughed. That associate, the associate of one of the associate along was behind the great personality. He laughed at Gopakumara and first introduced himself. "I am Nandishwara." And he said, "You don't know who is this great personality. He is the Lord Shiva. He is a giver of liberation. He is the greatest Vaishnava and more dear to all the Vaishnavas. This personality, Lord Shiva, resides above this abode of liberation." So, if you remember the Goloka chart, which we discussed a couple of years ago, we had a very detailed seminar on that. Mahakalapura is a border of the universe. After crossing the layers, there is a Mahakalapura. It's shown in the Goloka chart as the form of a ball, which is not. It's just for our understanding, it mentions there the ball, which is a small ball at the end of the universe. The lower part is Mahakalapura, upper part is Sadashiva Loka. This is the connection joint between the material world and the spiritual world. That area, everything is covered with the Brahmajyoti. That's the reason Gopakumara was experiencing the effulgence. So Nandishwara explains that he resides upper part of Mahakalapura, which is Sadashiva Loka. So this personality, Lord Shiva, worships Lord Sankarsana, and he says something which bewilders Gopakumara. He says, the Sadashiva Loka is the highest abode. Beyond this, nothing exists. What he said is true, because that is the end of material world, beginning of spiritual world. So for him, there is nothing exists beyond this, because that is the end of material world. So Gopakumara was very happy once to have darshan of Lord Shiva, but also felt dissatisfied that I can't see the Lord in his personal form, Supreme Personal God in his personal form. So whatever I saw in Brahmajyoti is at end. Can't I have the darshan of my Lord and have pastimes with him? So when he was thinking like that, he saw there are great personalities, the four-handed form. They were coming from a great little distance. They have a beautiful, effulgent bodies. They coming towards Lord Shiva. They were all singing and dancing. By looking at them, Shiva started dancing ecstatically. And Mother Parvati and other associates, they started playing musical instruments. Kirtana started. Wonderful Kirtana started. And these great personalities, a beautiful description about them was given. It runs into many slokas. They were wearing very beautiful ornaments and garments, and they all four-handed form, bluish, dark bluish body. They look like Vishnu. And four Kumaras were accompanying them. Now, Gopakumara already has experienced or encountered discussion with four Kumaras. He met them before in Tapaloka. So he immediately identifies them and pay obeisances to four Kumaras and all the associates who are four-handed personalities. And he was intensely praying. I want these personalities, mercy of these personalities upon me. And he was worried, concerned. Who are these personalities? He was wondering, who are these personalities? Then Ganesha told Gopakumara. Actually, a very beautiful description was given. Ganesha told Gopakumara, these are the residents of Vaikuntha. They are going to different universes. They are passing through Shivaloka, this abode, and they are passing through this abode. They are going to different planets of different universes of several headed Brahma. So it's not necessary because now they cross the universe. They are above the universe, means they can go to any universes. Now we are talking about one universe. He crossed the layers of one universe and came just crossed above the universe. Kind of he was in a Brahmajyoti level. Now from there, the access to all other universes are also there. So these Vaikuntha Vasis, they were getting spread into different, they're going to different universes. So when Ganesha explained this to Gopakumara, a desire arose in the heart of Gopakumara that I want to be a Vaikuntha Vasi. Then he realized that I am not qualified. And he started weeping and get fainted. Then Lord Shiva pacified him and he said that, don't worry, Gopakumara. I know that you are worried that you are not able to go to Vaikuntha. What to do? Me and Parvati are also worried. We are here in Shiva, my abode, Shivaloka, for time immemorial, meditating on Lord Sankarsana, but we never got any opportunity to enter Vaikuntha. So it's explained by Acharyas that one who achieves the position of Brahma has been blessed by Supreme Personality of Godhead with 100 times more mercy than which is received by executing Varnashram Dharma. So position of Brahma is 100 times more than those who are executing Varnashram Dharma with full faith. 100 times more superior mercy of the Lord when one enters Shivaloka. So Shiva is explaining here to Gopakumara. Thus one enters my abode, he gets 100 times, or only one who gets 100 times more mercy than Brahma can enter my abode. So we have to put it in that way. So then he says, 100 times more mercy than what the resident of my abode gets, including me, only can enter Vaikuntha. Now you decide whether you are qualified or not qualified. Definitely I am not qualified. Parvati is not qualified. Actually, this is a humility of Lord Shiva. It is not that he is not qualified. He is exhibiting his humility. Then he says that actually, Gopakumara, you are qualified to go to Vaikuntha because you have mercy of your spiritual master. You already reached the place of Sayudya Mukti. You know, Krishna ordered me and Parvati to conceal the Krishna Prema, the Prema Bhakti to those who wanted to get merged into Brahmajyoti. So for them, no Krishna Prema at all. So, my dear Gopakumara, I am giving a suggestion to you. Please reject the liberation. Don't aim for Saidya Mukti. Then, hearing this discussion, the residents of Vaikuntha, they started discussing with Gopakumara. They said, my dear Gopakumara, you are very, very dear to your spiritual master. And also Lord Shiva. You are a wonderful devotee. You know who is your guru? Your guru is now the whole drama is getting unveiled. Your guru, his name is Jayanta. He actually originally born in Bengal. He is incarnation of Supreme Lord. So here, Acharyas explain that Guru is non-different from Supreme Lord. Spiritual master is incarnation of mercy, incarnation of Supreme Lord. Then the sense of Vaikuntha, they say that if you desire to enter Vaikuntha, you must go back to Rajabhumi and perform Navavidha Bhakti and hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Stop all this mantra japa. Now this mantra japa is up to one stage. If you want to go to the spiritual world, the 10 syllable, that's why last week when Mataji was asking, what is that 10 syllable Gopal mantra? Which is not, it is given in the scriptures, but it is not relevant for us because we can go up to Brahmajyoti. Now here the essence of Vaikuntha says, give up all this. You engage in Navavidha Bhakti and hear the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. You practice any one limb of Navavidha Bhakti that allows you to go to Vaikuntha. Be faithful, my dear Gopakumara, to the practice of devotional service. What will happen? Prema Bhava will arise in our heart. So, it cures the disease of the heart. Not the heart disease. Disease of the heart is material entanglement. This material entanglement, attachment in this material world, this is the one, it prevents one to go to Vaikuntha. So if you are talking about Vaikuntha, from there, if you want to go to Goloka, what should be your position? And we take it so easy without realizing what all things we need to undergo. But when we sincerely chant, automatically, sincerely chant, following the instructions of spiritual master perfectly, we get all this entanglement removed. So, what residents of Vaikuntha they say is, Bhakti is not an activity of material senses. Don't think that by doing deity worship 4237, when we do Aarti, it is not an activity of material senses. This Bhakti is beyond the modes of material nature. And it's extremely blissful, my dear Gopakumara. Extremely blissful. By engaging in Bhakti, all the senses become spiritual. And they become Satchit Ananda. So, please proceed to Rajabhumi and practice Bhakti, which is devoid of karma and jnana, of course, vairagya. And engage yourself in Nama Sankirtana. It is guaranteed, my dear Gopakumara, that the wealth of Krishna Prema will arise in your heart and you will go to Vaikuntha very soon. As Gopakumara heard before, that, of course, a lot of discussion has happened here, which will cut down because almost time is up. Another few minutes will conclude and will enter Vaikuntha. So they conclude saying, since Lord mercy upon you is abundant, you never give the desire to receive the direct mercy, direct darshana of the Lord. You always hanker to see the Lord and engage in the pastimes of the Lord. This is the power of bhakti. The holy name is more powerful than the Supreme Lord. And nothing can be compared to that. My dear Gopakumara, please go to Mathura and practice bhakti. So Gopakumara is continued to explain to this poor Brahmana, saying that by mercy of these great Vaishnavas, I miraculously came down to Vrindavana. I don't know how I came. Now another 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes maximum, will complete this Vaikuntha also. Then we'll cross, go beyond. Vaikuntha, this is the 4th chapter, named Vaikuntha, the spiritual kingdom. We'll try to complete this chapter today, so that 5, 6, and 7, 3 chapters are there. We'll try to cover in next 2 sessions, and we'll complete with Bhagavatam. This 4th chapter, it describes the tattva of Vaikuntha, the true nature of Vaikuntha, and the residents of Vaikuntha. It also explains the glories of the residents of Vaikuntha. This chapter concludes when Gopakumara visits to Ayodhya, which is situated beyond Vaikuntha. Of course, Ayodhya and Dwaraka, they are called special provinces of Vaikuntha, which we'll discuss. So now our hero of this story, Gopakumara, came back to Vrajabhumi. When he sees Vrajabhumi, he completely forgot about Vaikuntha and everything. Because he wanted to go to Vaikuntha, now he completely forgot about it. Then he started associating with all the devotees, heard Srimad Bhagavatam, and understood the process of Navida Bhakti. He also meets his spiritual master Jayanta. First time his name was revealed by residents of Vaikuntha. He meets his Guru Jayanta, pays obeisances to him, and receives more mercy from him. Explains the whole process of Navida Bhakti and tells him no need to do this mantra japa anymore, but practice Navida Bhakti and engage in Nama Sankirtana. Practice make perfect any of these limbs. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. Any of this, all of these, or any of these 9 limbs, you become perfect. So as Gopakumara started practicing Navida Bhakti and continued to hear Bhagavatam, one day the residents of Vaikuntha came in a special chartered aeroplane and took him on their plane to Vaikuntha. And on the way, they told Gopakumara, now we give up this body of a covered boy, accept 400 spiritual body, boss, you know you are going to Vaikuntha. You cannot be like this. You will be odd man out. Gopakumara refused. He says, no, I am happy to be a covered boy. And on the way, he has seen all the planetary systems and layers, and he paid obeisances to them. He paid obeisances to Shiva, Lord Shiva. Now he reached Vaikuntha. Now we see there are different types of mukti: Sayuddha mukti, Samipya mukti, Sarupya mukti, Sarshti, and finally Salokya. 5 types of liberations. One already he experienced Sayuddha mukti. He was about to get merged with Brahmajyoti. He escaped because of his Guru's mercy or his desire to see the Lord, have a darshan of the Lord. Now in this Vaikuntha, let us see what are all the forms of mukti he is going to. Samipya, he will be very close to the Lord. Sarupya, one who gets Sarupya, he gets similar form of the Lord. Sarshti, same opulence like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Salokya, he gets permanent residency here of that abode. He gets permanent residency and he gets allotted a place or a planet, abode to reside. More or less, all these forms of mukti one can experience in Vaikuntha. Now, the residents of Vaikuntha, they ask Gopakumara to wait at the entrance. Because they reached Vaikuntha now, they asked him to wait here at the entrance. So we'll go in and take permission from the Supreme Lord to take you inside. As Gopakumara was waiting there, very beautiful description about Vaikuntha. Even from outside of Vaikuntha itself, wonderful, beautiful description was given. And the great personalities who are entering into Vaikuntha, about description about them, tens of verses were glorifying this. The great personalities with the four-handed form, they were entering Vaikuntha, full of opulence, superior, 100 times more than the all opulences available in the universe. They were having such kind of opulence, a beautiful body, effulgent personalities. And Gopakumara misunderstood them as Lord Narayana. And he started paying obeisances and glorifying them. They denied glorification and said, "Oh, we are not, we are only servants of the Lord." And here, nice description was given. This residents of Vaikuntha who are entering into Vaikuntha planet. Now we are not entered, still is waiting outside. We are all waiting outside along with Gopakumara to enter into Vaikuntha. They are all carrying a different paraphernalia, items of worship along with them. So some are going with the four-handed form, some assumed the human form, and some assumed the form of monkeys. Some look like a Brahma, 4-headed, 8-headed, 1,000-headed Brahmas. Some look like Indra, Chandra, Aruna, Varuna, Vayu. So it is mentioned that it is impossible for us to even describe their beauty. They describe their beauty and opulence. What to talk about the beauty and opulence of Supreme Lord and Vaikuntha planet. These personalities explain that they are beyond any faults. What is the main fault when Gopakumara reached the higher planet, heavenly planets? There also there is no anarthas. There is no fear of death, but they had enviousness in higher planet system. That is lacking here. Absolutely no any fault in this Vaikuntha planet. Now, finally, Gopakumara was taken inside by those personalities who brought him there. So everything what Gopakumara seen inside, as he was passing through, he passed through so many gates, so many cities, so many districts. Such a huge abode. So many districts. Means that so many internally, so many abodes are there where the different incarnations of the Lord have their own abodes. And the permanent residents, those who has a PR of Vaikuntha, they have their own residences. The beautiful residences, even residences are nicely described. We don't have much time to go through all this. It mentions, Nathan Goswami mentions that everything what Gopakumara saw there was amazing and wonderful. This even 1,000-headed Anantadeva will not be able to describe it, even the entire life of Brahma. Vaikuntha alone, Vaikuntha can be understood only by the mercy of Supreme Lord. Our mind cannot grasp, our mind cannot understand. So, author gives one rider here saying, except by direct experience, one cannot understand. So, we are trying to understand, because when we say Vaikuntha planet is beautiful, the beautiful word is what our mind can relate is something which is in material world. We can try to compare, our mind tries to compare the beautiful when we describe Vaikuntha planet with something which is material, because our all senses are material. So whatever description we give, whatever narration we discuss, our mind will still try to compare only with the material beauty, material appearance. So what author says is, except by direct experience, one cannot understand. Happiness, which is realized in Brahmajyoti by Gopakumara, appear to be empty compared to Vaikuntha. Then we can understand the glory of Vaikuntha. So, as Gopakumara was passing through the gates and districts and cities, he mistook the great personalities, devotees he saw as Narayana. So he paid obeisances to them. They said, no, no, I'm not the Lord, I'm only servant. So then the devotees who were taking Gopakumara inside, they actually explained the most uncommon features of the Lord, which can differentiate the Lord Narayana from other residents. They told him about the Srivatsa, which is the curl of white hair on his chest, which is Mother Lakshmi, and Kaustubha jewel. Likewise, they given most uncommon symptoms or features of the Lord. Then as they came near to the Vaikuntha, the main palace where the Lord is residing, it's a gigantic palace made of gold and diamond. Very beautiful description was given. Few verses were talking about describing the palace itself. And as they were entering, they also told, murmured in the ears of Gopakumara, hey, listen to this very carefully. This is how you must glorify Supreme Personality Godhead. But when you see him, you should start reciting the various poems and songs, because they were worried about his covered boy attire. So when Gopakumara seen the beautiful four-handed Supreme Personality Godhead sitting on a golden throne, he forgot everything, whatever they told. Lord, the beauty of the Lord was described in tens of slokas. The fresh, ever fresh youth form, wearing very opulent garments and ornaments, smeared with chandan on his body. Mother Lakshmi was serving him and all other associates and servants also serving him with various paraphernalia. Seeing the beauty of the Lord, Gopakumara completely forgot what devotees have told. He started running towards the Lord. He was trying to embrace him. Hey Gopala, hey Krishna, hey Madhava. And suddenly all the residents of Vaikuntha were shocked. What is this? Here is Supreme Person of Godhead. Somebody is calling him, hey, hey, hey. So they stopped him. They stopped him and said, what are you doing? He was completely in a stage wherein he was not able to get away from them. He wanted to go and embrace the Lord. He was completely shocked by seeing the beauty of Supreme Person of Godhead, Narayana. He got fainted. When he got up, he heard the voice of Lord. Very beautiful description was given about what Lord has spoken to Gopakumara. Very wonderful message for all of us. Lord said, my dear child, compose yourself and come to me. May all auspiciousness be upon you. Then he says, my dear Gopakumara, I have been waiting for you like a fool for millions of your lifetimes, and you never remember me. This is actually for us. Like a fool, I have been waiting for a very long time. You never wanted to come here. I created a situation that you performed some good pious activities and made you to take birth in Brajabhumi. And then I arranged your spiritual master, Jayanta, who is none other than me. I incarnated as your spiritual master just for you to bring back to my abode. I personally descended as your Guru Maharaj. Now, my dear Gopakumara, my long cherished desire is fulfilled. So, Lord is how eagerly he is waiting for us to come back to his abode. We can understand. Lord is saying, my long cherished desire is fulfilled. So, how eagerly Lord is waiting. We are here completely forgot, engaged in so many nonsensical activities. Gopakumara was very happy to see the Lord. He became like a mad person and he started playing his flute and dancing. Both Lord and Mother Lakshmi were very happy. And as now Gopakumara being a resident of Vaikuntha planet, the varieties of opulences, they came to him and offered themselves to Gopakumara, but he rejected. He said, I am happy to remain as coward boy. I don't want any opulence, no opulent garments and ornaments. See, all the opulences in Vaikuntha planet are also Sat, Chit and Ananda. Everything in Vaikuntha is Sat, Chit and Ananda. So Gopakumara, the happiness Gopakumara experiencing is now, he concluded, he said, by the Lord's mercy, I obtained the ultimate result of the fruits of my devotional practice. Just now, this is the end of it. I don't want anything beyond this. You are so ecstatic and blissful and engaged in various services, including fanning, playing flute, and service of the Lord. And sometimes, out of ecstasy, he shouts, hey Gopala, hey Kanai, and started singing the various Vrindavan pastimes. And the residents of Vaikuntha, they were not able to tolerate. They took him aside in a solitary place and said, They were laughing at him. My dear Gopal, Narayana is the Supreme Lord. You know, don't call him with all this Gopala, Kanaya, and all these names. You know something? Krishna's pastimes he performed only to protect devotees and punish the miscreants. So Krishna is expansion of Narayana. So don't, those activities are very minute, very simple activities. Is a part of his Leela. Just to satisfy the devotees, he assumed the Vesha of a covered boy and performed the Leela in Brajbhumi. It is only his pastime, one of his pastimes. It is not appropriate, my dear Gopal, to glorify him with these pastimes. Now they say, the Gopakumara was surprised. He said, okay, now what? Now who should I glorify him? They said, now see, we have to, the Vaikuntha standard prayers are there. Like Purusha Shukta and all this. Harihi Om Tacham Yorabrini. So they all explained with different Vaikuntha prayers. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So conclude with the various. These are the Vaikuntha prayers. No, you don't call him as Hey Gopala, Hey Krishna. What is this? And Gopakumara felt ashamed. He said, what is this? I cannot. First of all, he started feeling dissatisfaction in his heart, saying he cannot go and jump on the Lord and play with him and feed him. Only Mother Lakshmi can feed. Others are standing far away and fanning him, and they cannot go and play with the Lord. He started feeling dissatisfaction on one hand, and over and above, these residents are objecting him to even glorify. And sometimes more than this, now Lord sometimes is disappears from that place along with his associates. Very beautifully explained in coming chapters. I will not reveal why Lord disappears from here. Actually, wherever he goes now, he sees Lord disappears sometimes and along with the associates and comes back after some time. And he asks residents, where is Lord? They say, come, we don't know. He goes and comes. Now, when Lord is not there, Gopakumara's unhappiness even increased many times. Then he tried to convince himself, thinking that, yeah, this Vaikuntha is ultimate. Now, they are saying Krishna Leela is pastime of Narayana. So, where can I go from here? So, he started meditating on the Lord, and Lord appears in his meditation as a Krishna and performed all the Leelas of Brajabhumi. So he is able to experience in his meditation all the Leelas. Like he goes and jumps on the Lord and playing with him, and so he started experiencing and enjoying. Then he meets Narada at solitary place. He says, my dear Gopal, you seem to be worried and unhappy. What is the reason? I can't see anybody in Vaikuntha being unhappy. This is something strange. It cannot happen. Please tell me what is the problem. Then Gopakumar revealed his heart. Saying, see, this is what I'm thinking. He says, Narada started laughing with him. He says, you know, your conclusion that there is no greater place than Vaikuntha is correct. This is ultimate. Beyond this, there is no, nothing exists. No greater dham. Lord's pastimes as covered by actually very, very special. Even I cannot experience those pastimes. Only a few devotees like you, confidential devotees like Rajavasis and you, they only can, Rajavasis and followers of Rajavasis, they only can experience. Now, abandon, Narada is telling Gopakumara, abandon all types of unhappiness. Don't complicate your mind too much. Understand, Lord Narayana is not different from your Gopala. Lord is very happy with you. So he is actually entering into your meditation and performing the Leelas. I know it's not your assumption or feelings. Actually, Lord is entering into meditation and revealing all his activities. So you are already seeing Lord, you are already associating with him. And he continues to explain about various incarnations of the Lord. A lot of discussion takes place about the deity worship, what happens by continuous deity worship that he explains. A lot of discussion happens between them, Gopakumar, and says that continuous practice of deity worship, one can get away from all the material entanglement and even the desire of liberation one can get rid of, and eventually he gets the prema bhakti, and prema bhakti at mature stage one will feel or one will enter the mood of Mahabhava. Symptoms of what is symptoms of Mahabhava? He explains that symptoms of Mahabhava, unhappiness and sorrow. So one always will be unhappy and sorrow. So that is ultimate. Unhappiness because of separation from the Lord, and in that they feel happiness. And he says, since the Lord is not happy with the devotees being unhappy, because in Mahabhava and Mahabhava stage, devotees will feel unhappiness. So Lord will not be happy, seeing devotees unhappy, so he do not give prema. So it is very confidential, but you or the greatest devotee can understand the mood and feelings of the Lord. So when Gopakumara hears the instructions or message or information or glorification which Narada is giving about the Lord and various process of bhakti, his desire to have a direct darshan of the Lord is increasing more and more. And he started lamenting. Then Narada sees here and there. He realizes no one is around. Then he pulls Gopakumara, murmurs in his ears. Says, the deep secret. Actually, I cannot tell this in Vaikuntha. He says that the short distance from here, there is Ayodhya, abode of Lord Rama, along with his associates. And you know, a little distance from there is Dwaraka. You, being resident of Vaikuntha, can go to these places. There you can have a direct darshan of your worshipable Lord. Dwaraka, Krishna is there. So Lord Rama is there. But Dwaraka, you wanted to do Krishna. He is there in Dwaraka. And remember, that's it. Nothing beyond that. Nothing exists beyond that. Because finally you see Krishna, two-handed form. So go to Ayodhya first, take Lord Rama's darshan, practice chanting of his glories. Then he explains how to glorify Lord Rama. And if he is merciful, he will send you to Dwaraka. And don't worry, you don't have to take permission of Lord Narayana to go to Ayodhya and Dwaraka, because these two are special provinces of Vaikuntha only. So there is no need to take permission of Narayana. So quickly, to conclude this, Gopakumara was very happy, pays obeisances to Lord Narada, says Narada, and he goes to Ayodhya, which is just a little away from the palace of Lord Narayana. So as was reaching Ayodhya, monkeys started bothering Gopakumara. They snatched the flute and all other things which he was carrying. We have this experience in Vrindavan also. And you see, even the monkeys have beautiful effulgent bodies and more opulent than Vaikuntha residents. He meets Sugriva, Angada, Jambavanta, and all these personalities. They were all happily serving Bharata Maharaj in Ayodhya. And he misunderstood Bharata as Rama and paid obeisances. Then immediately Hanuman came there and he quickly takes Gopakumara, takes him inside where Lord Ramachandra is sitting along with his associates. And Gopakumara pays obeisances to Lord Ramachandra. And Lord Rama was very happy, he embraces him. Says, my dear Gopakumara, I am your friend. Please remain here with happiness. Don't again don't think too much about more happiness and more happiness. I know what you have been going through. Abandon all this paying obeisances and all. Be my friend. And Gopakumara felt that finally he received. Everywhere he thinks the same thing, but again dissatisfaction starts coming into heart. He finally thinks that he received the fruit which he has been craving for a very long time. But again, because there are no varieties of sweet pastimes, because Gopakumara is a coward boy, there are no sweet pastimes. Again, there is worship is there, and service is there, and massaging is there, all these things are there, but no sweet pastimes. He started feeling dissatisfied, unhappiness. And he started thinking about Rajabhumi and all. Now, Lord Ramachandra, he understands, he will not waste much time. He says, okay, I understand your heart, Gopakumara. Now you can go to Dwaraka and take darshana of Krishna. So this ends chapter 4 of Bhagavatamrta. If we have any questions, comments, we can take for a few minutes. Already it's 9:30 in Oman. Any questions, comments we can discuss? Then we'll start chapter 5 and 6, where Gopakumara experiences takes us to Dwarka and other abodes. Finally, go to Goloka Vrindavana. So it is a beautiful experience, beautiful glorification. Explanation was given by Acharyas, which we are going to personally experience and be with Gopakumara's journey in coming 2 weeks. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, am I audible? Prabhu, if I heard wrong, so please correct me. So 10 minutes before you were mentioning when Gopakumara entered Vaikuntha, he was glorifying Narayana as the highest and Krishna. He incarnated as Krishna. Am I correct? If I heard correct?
Gopakumara not glorifying the residents of Vaikuntha, because wherever he goes, the resident of that abode, they are not aware of anything beyond that. The residents of Vaikuntha, they are all in the mood of worshipping Narayana as Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, those who worship Narayana as Supreme Personality of Godhead will come to this abode. They don't know anything beyond that. So for them, Krishna is incarnation of Lord Narayana.
Okay.
So that's what they are telling Gopakumara. It's not Gopakumara's realization. Gopakumara tells, they tell Gopakumara. Then he started lamenting, oh my God, I was thinking of doing pastimes. Now he is only ultimate. So I had to worship him with awe and reverence. So that was the feeling.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Yes.
Any other questions or comments? So if there are no any further